Is this you? Are you tossing and turning? Or maybe you only sleep when you're supposed to be doing something else. Well, I got just the thing for you. Sleep hacks for better sleep. Starting off with number one, stick to the same sleep schedule. This is possibly the most impactful thing you can do to improve your sleep. Try to go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning. I'm gonna say that again. Try to go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning. And aim for at least 6 hours of sleep, and that's the minimum. 8 is probably ideal. This works to improve sleep health because sticking to a schedule will reinforce your circadian rhythm. Erratic scheduling is what causes many problems. With insomnia at the top of the list, there's also high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, anxiety and mood disorders, irritability, slow reaction times, and heart disease. Number two, our second hack is to optimize your environment. Your environment should be a sanctuary, and there are three factors to consider. Number one is noise level. For the best quality sleep, the body requires a peaceful and quiet environment. Noises and disturbances not only prevent sleep, but may interrupt it, unfortunately waking up the body as you transition through the various stages of sleep. If noise is your problem, some solutions include white noise, earplugs, or thick curtains at windows. A second factor to optimize is light levels. If your space has too much light, it will likely suppress the production of melatonin. Sleeping in dark rooms is what allows our bodies to produce more of this sleep-inducing hormone and thus helps improve overall sleep quality. Consider purchasing blackout curtains or using an eye mask. Join me in the dark side. Temperature. One of the cues that affects our circadian rhythms is temperature. Around 2 hours before and during sleep, the body's temperature lowers, coinciding with the production of melatonin. Lowering the room temperature at night can work in tandem with your body's natural temperature fluctuations, signaling to the body that bedtime is approaching. The recommended room temperature for sleep is 15.6 to 20 degrees Celsius, or 60 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Air conditioning is optimal, but alternatives for staying cool are to use a fan, stay hydrated, take a shower, or if you want to take a step further, use a fan and put a bowl of ice behind it. I will link an article in the description box below on how to stay cool. And our third factor is sunlight in the morning. Lucky for you, this is extremely cheap. The sun is free. At least 30 minutes of bright daylight exposure upon waking each day can help you feel more alert during the day and has a laser effect that helps you feel sleepy in the evening and fall asleep earlier. This is because exposure to bright light promotes the release of cortisol, and in turn, the hormone drives wakefulness during the day and has an inverse effect on cortisol levels at night. In terms of getting your sunlight in, the earlier in the day the better, but midday exposure is better than nothing. So sit outside, go for walks, or do whatever you can to get your sun in. Number four, avoid certain substances. There are three things you should avoid having, particularly when it's close to the time that you want to sleep. These three things are coffee, alcohol, and food. Coffee. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors, and while the effect of alertness and energy is what makes it sought after, it should be considered that this drug can prevent sleep and cause sleep to feel less satisfying by reducing its quality. If you don't want coffee to impact your sleep, you should avoid having it a minimum of 8 hours before bedtime. Alcohol. If you weren't expecting alcohol to be on the list, that makes sense. It makes people feel tired and sluggish, but the reason it's bad for your sleep health is because it disrupts your sleep cycle. It may help you sleep initially, but it causes sleep to be fragmented. Unless you crave to feel restless, stop drinking at least 4 hours before bed. And food. I know a lot of people who love eating. After all, we need food to not die. However, we can't always be eating. Consuming particularly large meals before bed can affect digestion and sleep quality. To prevent digestion from disrupting your sleep, stop eating 3 hours before your aimed bedtime. Number five, exercise. I love exercise. I really am a big proponent of exercise helping in almost every aspect of your life. Exercise in general helps with sleep. According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, recent research indicates that exercise decreases sleep complaints and insomnia in patients. It reduces the time it takes to fall asleep, decreases the amount of time spent laying awake at night, and alleviates daytime sleepiness. The effects of aerobic exercise on sleep appear to be similar to those of sleeping pills. But exercise in the morning over the evening or afternoon can be especially beneficial because it stimulates an earlier melatonin release and improves sleep rhythms. Even if it's just 5 minutes, consider adding any exercise you can to your daily routine. Number 6, technology, or rather, avoiding technology. Screen time in the evening can disrupt the surge of melatonin you need to fall asleep. In the short term, excessive screen time can increase the time taken to fall asleep, reduce sleep quality, and impact attentiveness during the day. In the long term, it increases the risk of sleeping disorders and certain cancers. Aim to limit technology a minimum of 90 minutes before bed. Try reading a book, taking a bath, or doing some relaxing activity that doesn't require looking at a screen. Speaking of relaxing, our 7th tip is to relax, or rather, de-stress. Stress is something that can really impair sleep. If this is your problem, there are some techniques I would recommend to alleviate stress, such as breathing techniques, meditation, or even bibliotherapy. One book I recommend is Feeling Great by David Burns, and an example of a breathing technique is cyclic sighing, which I learned from Dr. Andrew Huberman. It involves taking 2 breaths through the nose and 1 long exhale through the mouth, and repeating 1 to 3 or as many times as you need to reduce feelings of panic and dis-ease.
So how he would do it is you take one inhale and you try to like fill your lungs to capacity, and then you take a short inhale right after before you exhale. So it's just like that. So it's like a deep inhale, sharp inhale, exhale.
This brings us to the end of the video. I hope you find these sleep hacks helpful. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. If you find that someone in your life might find this helpful, share it. If you don't, then don't. And I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.